Right now at 8, Meriter Hospital prepares for its nurses to go on strike, the new conditions they are fighting for.
And we're expecting pretty pleasant conditions this Memorial Day weekend. The full forecast coming up.
Then later, a Madison hotel is being transformed. Now, one developer is working to combat the city's housing crisis. This is Weekend Mornings, and we thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. I'm Kyle Pazorski. Well, let's get to the first one forecast, and Jacob Montesano has that. It's going to be a calm and cool weekend ahead. Hi, Jacob.
Yeah, definitely on the better side, considering we had a few days where it was rainy and in the 50s earlier this week. We're going to see, temperatures a little bit below normal, but they will be very comfortable. Now, right now we're seeing temperatures in the upper 40s to lower 50s, so it's already warming up pretty nicely out there. And the other good news with today is that we're going to see very little wind, so when the sun is shining, it will feel a little bit warmer than what it actually will be. Now, looking at the cloud cover and rainfall forecast, we'll see sunny skies early, maybe some sprinkles closer to Lake Michigan, but Madison and areas to the west for sure going to be dry. We will see a little bit more cloud cover later in the day, but still a few peaks of sunshine throughout the entire day. And high temperatures will be in the middle 60s, but again, the wind very calm throughout the entire day. And even when the clouds do increase for the later afternoon and evening hours, we're still going to see a few peaks of sunshine here and there. You folks in La Crosse may actually get into the lower 70s, so it will be a little bit warmer for western counties. It also will be a bit sunnier further northwest. So a pretty good day. It's going to get even better for Sunday, Memorial Day, and also track our next chance of rain, all coming up a little bit later.
All good news. Thank you, Jacob. We'll check back in just a bit. Now, top in our news, Madison's Meriter Hospital says it will remain fully operational during a strike this coming week. Nurses at the hospital are set to begin striking on Tuesday morning. To prepare, hospital leaders have contracted with travel nurses for the week. Nurses with the local union say they are fighting to retain seasoned nurses and to have additional security on staff.
We didn't make this decision lightly. We became nurses for our patients, and so although this is a kind of scary time where we don't know what's happening, we also don't want to do this because it's scary and we don't know what's happening for our patients. And so I don't want it to seem like this is just a frivolous decision.
Patients and visitors should expect to see picketers near the hospital, as well as additional security on site during the strike. Access to the hospital will not be impacted, but partial road closures may occur. Flags in Wisconsin will fly at half-staff today, this as a mark of respect towards the emergency medical services professionals who have given their lives in the line of duty. It is in coordination with the National EMS Week, which ends today. On Monday, flags will again fly at half-staff for Memorial Day, remembering the nation's fallen heroes. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says attorney Ben Jones will be succeeding Judge Susan Crawford on the Dane County Circuit Court. He has served as the Department of Public Instruction's chief legal counsel since 2019. Governor Evers saying Jones' character, intellect, and commitment to public service will serve Dane County well. His term will run through July of 2026. Taking a live look now at the White House in our nation's capital. Yesterday, a federal judge stepped into President Trump's battle with Harvard University. The judge blocking the administration's plan to stop Harvard from enrolling foreign students. And all of this as the president has also launched a tariff threat against another American institution, Apple. CBS's Bradley Blackburn is tracking out the latest from the White House.
President Trump touched down in New Jersey late Friday as he prepares to deliver the commencement address at West Point Saturday morning. But his battle with another institution of higher learning, Harvard, has been dealt a setback. America's oldest university sued the government over a plan to bar it from enrolling foreign students, saying it would have a, quote, immediate and devastating effect for Harvard and more than 7,000 visa holders. They also claim the order violates the First Amendment.
I think somebody has to stand up against the bully and raise a flag, and it should not be a white flag of surrender, and Harvard is not.
The administration accuses the university of allowing, quote, anti-American, pro-terrorist agitators to assault Jewish students, creating an unsafe campus environment.
This country is paying billions and billions of dollars and then gives student loans, and they have to pay back the loans. So Harvard's going to have to change its ways.
On Friday, the president also put Apple in the crosshairs, using an early morning social media post to say if the company doesn't start making iPhones in the U.S., he'll impose a 25% tariff. It could dramatically raise the cost of iPhones like the one that went off on the president's desk.
It's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello?
In the Oval Office, the president said other tech companies could face tariffs too.
It would be more. It would be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair.
Apple had already promised to invest $500 billion in new U.S. plants and workers over the next 4 years. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Additionally, President Trump is also threatening a new 50% tariff on the European Union beginning on June 1st, saying there's been a breakdown in trade negotiations. If that happens, it would mean imports from Europe would be taxed at a higher rate than those from China. And taking a look at Wall Street, they ended the week all in the red. Both stocks and the dollar fell after President Trump made those threats of massive tariffs against Apple. All three major indexes closing in the red. Here's a look at Friday's closing numbers. The Dow falling some 256 points, the Nasdaq down 188, and the S&P down 39. The Rust movie armorer convicted of involuntary manslaughter has been released from prison. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was sentenced to 18 months in prison after being convicted in March of last year for the fatal on-set shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. The New Mexico Corrections Department says she was released Friday after being granted parole. The Department of Corrections says she is now on dual supervision in Arizona. Prosecutors say they're considering the death penalty for the suspect accused of murdering 2 Israeli embassy employees in Washington. The 31-year-old suspect in those murders is from Chicago. Authorities say Elias Rodriguez flew to Washington with a legally purchased handgun, then bought a ticket for the event at a Capital Jewish museum. He is charged with 5 felony counts. Court papers say he told police, quote, "I did it for Gaza." Rodriguez has not entered a plea. To more local news, amid Madison's housing crisis, developers are taking alternative approaches to constructing new buildings, like repurposing old facilities into living spaces. Our Maddie Himes brings us an example of just that on Madison's east side.
In what developers are calling naturally occurring affordable housing, these once Super 8 hotel rooms have taken a new form.
It wasn't just your ordinary Super 8 hotel. It was a very challenging property for the neighborhood. A couple hundred police calls or so a year.
What was once a problematic property is transforming to a solution.
There's, as we know, a severe housing shortage here. Rents are skyrocketing, home prices are skyrocketing. It's driving a lot of people out of the affordability factor.
Cody Wiseman is the CEO of Wiseman Capital, the investment company developing the new studio apartments. The complex is privately funded, so it doesn't rely on government subsidies and doesn't defer to federal restrictions.
There's no income restrictions on that.
Alder Sabrina Madison says it's a direct investment in her district.
I want to see more opportunities to invest in the district and invest in something that is beautiful, that considers everybody at every income level.
The area is home to the Dane County Regional Airport, UW Health East Hospital, and Madison Area Technical College, serving students, corporate employees, healthcare workers, and families.
Having more affordability in our housing options is super necessary.
We knew we could do better for Madison.
The 129 units will be available to rent June 1st. Reporting on Madison's east side, I'm Maddie Himes, News 3 Now.
And as for the price of rent at the newly renovated Sandberg Studios, those will range from $975 to just over $1,100 per month. And staying local, a UW scientist has discovered a sustainable way to get an in-demand chemical compound. Brian Fox is a biochemistry professor at UW-Madison. His work consists of altering the genetic makeup of plants. Fox's latest discovery is a chemical compound used in medicine, cosmetics, and food products. It's usually pulled from oil, but Fox found it in a biochemically engineered poplar tree.
You don't need to have an oil well. You don't need to pump up oil. You do have to grow a plant. And trees take a little while to grow. You have to harvest the plant, but this is all part of creating a bioeconomy based on plant materials.
Fox's poplar tree research is a part of a Department of Energy funded project, and his work has used National Institute of Health funding in the past as well. Our time now is 8:08. Still ahead, a beloved mural in Madison is coming down. We got the reason why next. But first, Jacob will be back with a full look of your first warn forecast as we welcome in Memorial Day weekend. This, of course, is Weekend Mornings.
Look at the three things you need to know. It's going to be quiet and pleasant over Memorial Day weekend with the rain expected Tuesday and Wednesday, and it is going to be warmer by the time we get to next weekend. But even this weekend is going to be pretty pleasant. Middle to upper 60s for today. We'll see partly sunny skies early, some cloudier skies later in the day, but we'll still see some peaks of sunshine. Will be noticeably cooler as you get closer to Lake Michigan. Highs will only be in the 50s for Milwaukee. And then as we head to the overnight hours, we are going to see the temperatures still a little cool, but not quite as cool as it was this morning. Everyone should stay in the 40s, maybe only in the lower 50s for places in southwestern Wisconsin, as we will see a few milder temperatures down there. And then for Sunday afternoon, it will be even better than today. Highs will be in the upper 60s to lower 70s with a little bit more sunshine as well. And we'll continue to see very calm winds. And for Memorial Day itself, very similar to Sunday, partly sunny skies, highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Definitely very nice, especially for those afternoon hours. And like I've been saying, there's going to really be no wind, so the sunshine will make it feel a bit warmer with the lack of wind. Now, as we take a look at the rainfall forecast, we will see just some on and off cloud cover throughout the weekend, but nothing is expected to precipitate. Maybe a few isolated showers here and there, but for the most part, very dry. Once we get to Monday night, we could see some more consistent rain, but especially later in the day, Tuesday into Tuesday night, we'll see some scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms move through the area. Now, once we get to Wednesday, that's going to continue, and the rain is expected to just kind of linger throughout the day on Wednesday, possibly lasting into Wednesday night as well, before it looks like most of it will clear out for Thursday morning, but we still could see some showers, especially for areas northwest towards La Crosse on Thursday, but most of the area shouldn't see any precipitation that day. Now, after this one rain chance, it doesn't look like we're going to see much at the end of the 10-day forecast, and we also are going to see those temperatures warm up. So we'll be dry until about Monday night and Tuesday, and then after about Thursday morning, will be dry going forward as well. So there aren't a lot of precipitation chances going forward, and temperatures slowly climbing up. So in general, there's going to be a lot of very nice days going forward. If you like the cooler temperatures, this weekend will be the weekend for you. If you like some of the warmer temperatures, next weekend will be better. And again, we have that rain chance Tuesday, Wednesday happening during the week. Not going to impact any Memorial Day plans, although it may not be, super warm outside, still very comfortable. Might get chilly in the morning, but with the sun shining in those afternoon hours, it is going to be very nice. And then next weekend could be even nicer as some areas could hit the lower 80s.
Nice stuff ahead. Appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you. Well, the annual Run Madtown returns this weekend, and as a result, there will be multiple streets impacted by the routes here in downtown Madison. This evening, the Twilight 5K will start and end at the 700 block of State Street. Will run through the UW-Madison campus. That race starts at 7 p.m. and is expected to end at around 8:30. Then tomorrow, the 10K and half marathon will start from the same block at 7 a.m. The 10K will make its way through downtown, while the half marathon will also go through the UW Arboretum. Those races are expected to end by 11 a.m. Lanes that are closed for all the races will open as each runner passes through. For more information on the impacted streets, just visit runmadtown.com. The world's largest Bratfest is back this weekend on the grounds of Madison's Alliant Energy Center. New this year, Bratfest is opening up the marketplace in the arena next to the Coliseum. Inside, visitors can shop from vendors ranging from arts and crafts, homemade goods, and much more. Additional vendors are located at the Carnival Walkway across from the Carnival. It is free to get into as well. One of the first Madison murals on Monroe Street will be coming down in just a few weeks' time. It was in 2020 when a pair of artists were approached by the owner of Lauer Realty to paint the wall of their building. But unfortunately, as the years have gone on, the painting created water damage on the brick wall, meaning it needs to be replaced. But the artists didn't see that as a bittersweet moment.
A lot of the way I paint and I go about things is about just being in the moment, experiencing the moment, soaking in the moment.
And recognizing people's attraction to the piece, the artist known as Trianguludar is now offering a giveaway of one of his original paintings for anyone who submits a creative photo in front of the mural before it is gone. Next on the Health Watch, some of the biggest dangers facing children and a study showing that breakfast cereal is getting even less healthy. Michael George has the week's top health stories.
A global study on children's health found the key challenges for young people are poor mental health, rising obesity, and exposure to violence. The study by the Murdoch Children's Research Institute also showed while children make up nearly 1/4 of the world's population, they receive only 2% of global health funding, showing more resources are badly needed. A new study shows social media is making kids more depressed. The research by UC San Francisco showed as kids' social media use increased, their depressive symptoms rose by more than 1/3 by the age of 12. Another troubling find, kids who were cyberbullied were more likely to attempt suicide and experiment with drugs and alcohol. And kids' breakfast cereals are becoming even less healthy. A study published in JAMA found the fat, salt, and sugar content in breakfast cereals have all shot up since 2010. Meanwhile, the levels of protein and fiber have been reduced. The biggest concern, just one serving of the average cereal has 45% the daily recommended amount of sugar for a child. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
And we're coming up now on 8:20, still ahead. Billy Joel cancels the remainder of his tour. We got that in entertainment news. Plus, Will Loper has the 3 things you need to watch on this Memorial Day weekend. Stick with us. We're back in a bit.
Hello, everybody. Let's take a look at the amount of rainfall we've seen so far this month and also so far this year. This month, we have been a little bit above normal, especially because of the rainfall we saw this past week. Throughout the entire year, just still a little bit behind the normal level. And if we look at the timing of the rainfall this month, like I mentioned, we had a lot this past week and a lot at the very start of the month. But we had about a week and a half where we saw very little precipitation, and that allowed some drought conditions to start forming in southern Wisconsin. But the rainfall this past week has helped mitigate the drought that has formed. Now, we do have another chance of rain Tuesday and Wednesday. Could bring a good around ½ to full inch of rainfall, but it doesn't look like we're going to see much beyond that. We'll be dry for Memorial Day weekend and dry after that, and it looks like the dry weather will continue in the extended forecast. The 8 to 14 day outlook suggests we'll see pretty dry conditions to start June. So if that does continue towards the middle of June, we may start to see more drought conditions forming, but for right now, we're not too concerned, especially with the rainfall we saw this past week.
Hey, look, all things considered, if we're going to have a dry couple of days, at least it is on the weekend and Memorial Day.
Exactly, and who knows, we may get, a ton of rainfall Tuesday, Wednesday if that system continues to balloon. So, right now, not too concerned about the drought situation, although we will be dry towards the end of the 10-day forecast.
And of course, that rain helps out the farmers and everyone who has those plants that they like to grow.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, on to some entertainment news. A verdict came down Friday in the robbery trial of Kim Kardashian in Paris. 8 of the 10 defendants were found guilty of crimes linked to the robbery. 2 were acquitted. None of those convicted will go to prison because of time served in pretrial detention. The billionaire reality TV star was tied up and robbed at gunpoint during Paris Fashion Week back in 2016. In testimony earlier this month, Kardashian said she thought she was going to die. Health problems have forced Billy Joel to cancel the remaining dates of his stadium tour. Joel's team posted to social media on Friday saying the legendary singer has been diagnosed with a brain disorder which is causing hearing, vision, and balance problems. It was back in February when his symptoms caused Joel to fall. He did manage to finish out the set at that time. Tickets for the now canceled shows will be refunded to all who paid for them. As we remind you each and every week, there is not really a shortage of films and shows streaming these days. Our Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
Charlotte, how have you been?
Well, that might take a while. We haven't spoken in a year.
Just thought a brother would want to see his sister.
Are you in trouble?
Now, why would you say that?
Go on a whirlwind adventure in Fountain of Youth, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
It's here. I can feel it.
There's a reason the fountain was hidden. You can't succeed.
John Krasinski and Natalie Portman star as estranged siblings bickering their way to finding immortality.
To be honest with you, when your invitation came, I nearly threw it out. 9 people chosen under bizarre circumstances.
Voila.
for a healing retreat.
See a new group of characters meet Masha in 9 Perfect Strangers Season 2, newly streaming on Hulu.
This group has been specifically chosen.
I've met you before.
I don't know if you remember me.
How are they all connected? Is his father who I think it is?
Nicole Kidman returns as the healing guru, along with a new cast that includes Christine Baranski, Henry Golding, Mark Strong, and more.
She's manipulating us.
I'm Stanley Tucci, and I believe that the best way to understand what makes a country and its people unique is through their food.
And explore Italy with Tucci in Italy, newly streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Where even the shape of your pasta and the sauce you serve it with, I love that, differentiates the character and history of each region sharply from the next.
Actor Stanley Tucci explores Italy's cuisine, culture, and history across 5 episodes.
Wow. Now I'm more hungry.
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
Definitely got to check a few of those out. Well, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour now, and coming up, another look at today's biggest news and weather headlines. Stick with us. It's Weekend Mornings. Right now at 8:30, the Trump White House facing another legal setback with its public feud against Harvard University.
And we're going to see pretty pleasant conditions this Memorial Day weekend. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Then later, I got my conversation with the Wisconsin State Patrol about the Memorial Day weekend travel and why you should wear your seatbelt. This is Weekend Mornings, and we thank you for joining us on this Saturday, May the 24th. I'm Kyle Pazarski, singer-songwriter. Bob Dylan turns 84 today. And let's start with a look at today's forecast. Jacob Montesano has that. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Kyle. As we take a look at the temperatures right now, they are warming up very nicely. A few hours ago, they had dropped into the 30s for a lot of the area, but right now upper 40s and lower 50s. We also are seeing very little wind, and that's going to be the case throughout the entire day, which will make it feel a little bit warmer. Now, taking a look at the current radar, completely dry at this hour, and we're going to be very dry throughout much of the day, although we will see an increase in clouds as we get towards the later afternoon and evening hours. But timing out your forecast for today, will be in the lower 60s by noon, middle 60s for the afternoon and evening. Could even see a few low 70s for some areas. We also will see clouds increase throughout the day, but again, the winds are going to be very calm, and when the sun is shining, it will feel a bit warmer than what the temperature actually is. La Crosse, you folks will be a little bit warmer, upper 60s, maybe lower 70s. Once again, very calm winds. And you folks in La Crosse will also see a little bit more sunshine. Now, as we take a look at the highs across the area, much of the same, with the exception of areas very close to Lake Michigan, which will only see highs in the middle 50s. Again, a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon, but still could see a few peaks of sunshine. Now, it's going to be even better for Sunday and Memorial Day itself, and we do have a chance of rain next week after Memorial Day weekend, but I'll have the full forecast for the next week coming up a little bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Now, topping our news this half hour, the Trump administration has been dealt a legal setback in its ongoing feud with Harvard University. A federal judge temporarily blocked the administration from banning foreign student enrollment at the university. In a lawsuit, Harvard said the White House's order violated the First Amendment and would have a, quote, immediate and devastating effect for Harvard and more than 7,000 visa holders. Trump saying this on Friday.
They have $52 billion, and this country is paying billions and billions of dollars and then gives student loans and they have to pay back the loans. So Harvard's going to have to change its ways. So are some others.
And also in the Oval Office Friday, Trump threatened to impose a new round of tariffs, including a 25% import tax on Apple. President Trump also says a partnership between U.S. Steel and Japanese steelmaker Nippon will add $14 billion in investment into the U.S. economy. The deal will also keep the headquarters in Pittsburgh, creating at least 70,000 jobs, according to Trump. He says the bulk of that investment will occur in the next 14 months. Former President Biden had blocked the acquisition during his last week in office. Staying in Washington, the Justice Department has struck a deal with Boeing to avoid prosecution of the company over 2 fatal crashes of the 737 MAX. That's according to a Friday court filing. This now makes official a proposal publicly reported last week, though a judge will still have to approve the deal for it to go into effect. If approved, the agreement will end a long and tumultuous case against the company. Here locally, Madison's Meriter Hospital says it will remain fully operational during the coming week's nurses' strike. Nurses at the hospital are set to go on strike on Tuesday. In preparation, the hospital leaders have contracted out some work to travel nurses. The local nurses union says they are fighting to retain seasoned nurses and have additional security on staff. Staying local, a nonprofit is celebrating the unofficial start of summer by getting kids in touch with nature. Today, Rooted is holding its Farm to School Aid concert. The event raises funds for their Farm to School program, which provides hands-on garden education for thousands of students every year. Rooted says with cuts to federal funding, they are counting on the community now more than ever.
So we just really think it's important to teach kids where their food comes from, and then also give them the experience of learning how to grow their own food. There's a lot of research that shows that, and we see this all the time, if kids have a hand in growing food, they're much more likely to try it.
The Farm to School Aid concert is from 2 to 8 p.m. today on Troy Drive. All proceeds will directly benefit Roots Gardener in Residence program in partnership with the Madison Metropolitan School District. Memorial Day weekend is often seen as the start of summer here in America, when millions use the long weekend to travel for vacation. But the true meaning of the holiday isn't lost on the families of those who died in combat. It was back in 1970 when 21-year-old Dennis Stoppelworth was serving in Vietnam when he lost his arm in an aircraft accident. It was on Friday when the Madison-born soldier and Bronze Star recipient was inducted into the Madison VA Hall of Heroes. When Stoppelworth died, his younger brother Rick was just 13 years old.
I wonder if we would have been close as adults. I wonder if he would have gone to law school. I wonder if he'd have gotten married and had children. I wonder what he would have felt about my marriage to my wonderful husband. I wonder many things. But I know this. Dennis Michael Stoppelworth was a young man of character and humanity who believed in living up to the responsibilities which came his way.
Truly some touching remarks there. The Hall of Heroes is located at the William S. Middleton Memorial Veterans Hospital here in Madison. If Dennis had survived the war, that's where he would have been eligible for care. Time now is 8:36. Still ahead, got my interview with the Wisconsin State Patrol, looking to make sure you wear a seatbelt on your way to any Memorial Day events. Plus, here's a look at today's Day in History.
Here's a look at the temperatures across the month of May. We have been very chilly the last week, but the week before that, we were very warm. Some days we got well into the 80s. Now, throughout the entire month, we, on average, are a little bit below normal, but not by much. Now, over the last 2 weeks, as I mentioned, very up and down all over the place, but take a look at the next 10 days. It is going to be a lot more consistent. We'll start with seeing highs in the 60s. They're going to warm up into the 70s, and overall, it looks like these temperatures that are much closer to normal are going to continue versus the last 2 weeks that have really just been all over the place. Here's a look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. It shows near average temperatures are expected towards the beginning of June, and this is obviously the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, which would include the end of the 10-day forecast, which for next weekend is looking like we'll see highs in the middle to upper 70s. So much more consistent weather temperature-wise is expected moving forward versus the wild temperature swings we've been seeing.
Yeah, it just feels like we've been on a roller coaster of those swings.
Yeah, now we're going to be kind of on like a train, I guess. Right along, pretty flat right along.
A train on some flat terrain out towards Nebraska.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. Well, and as you no doubt know, Memorial Day weekend is here, and with it, loads of people are hitting the roads to see family and loved ones. This morning we check in with the Wisconsin State Patrol on how to get there safely. So Trooper Vane with the Wisconsin State Patrol, thank you so much for doing this. Obviously it's Memorial Day weekend, lots of travel, so talking about click it or ticket, big initiative by Wisconsin State Patrol to get people to buckle up, right?
Correct. So click it or ticket mobilization starts in May, ends in June here. Law enforcement agencies throughout the nation, not just the state here, ramp up enforcement efforts on folks who aren't wearing their seatbelt. It doesn't matter if they're the driver or the passenger. Wearing your seatbelt is the most effective way to prevent injury or death during a crash, and we want to save lives.
And seatbelts, they save lives.
Correct, seatbelts save lives. It doesn't matter, again, it goes back to the notion of folks thinking about like what kind of vehicle they're in. If I'm in a bigger vehicle, maybe I'm safer. It doesn't matter what kind of vehicle you're in. Without your seatbelt on, you are at a greater risk of getting injured or even death.
And what kind of penalty does someone face, whether they be a passenger or a driver, if they're caught not wearing a seatbelt?
So in the state of Wisconsin, you are required to wear a seatbelt. If you get stopped on the side of the road, you can be issued a citation, a ticket, a $10 ticket or citation. If children in the vehicle are spotted not properly buckled up, the citation only goes up from there.
And obviously, over the weekend with Memorial Day Trail, I always see people each and every year for holidays going up I-39, 90, 94 towards La Crosse or Wausau, going up north. People, they're traveling and there's always a lot of heavy traffic. So this is kind of like a big effort by Wisconsin State Patrol, obviously, to get the message out there on big travel weekends like this, right?
Yes, Memorial Weekend here is like the biggest holiday to start the summer off. Folks, we are expecting high travel volumes out here. Obviously with the amount of vehicles out here, it does create more of like a hazardous situations for folks. I'm not saying that it's not safe to be out here and get to where you want to be, but again, it always goes out to safety is our priority here. We do want folks to be aware of that, to get there where they need to be safely in a responsible way. And wearing your seatbelt is one of those.
Well, thank you so much, Trooper Bang.
Thank you for having me.
And we're coming up on 15 to the hour. Still to come, Andrew will check in with your Friday sports highlights. But first, Jacob is back with another full look of your Saturday forecast and what to plan for your Memorial Day. We're back in a bit.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. It is going to be quiet and pleasant over Memorial Day weekend. Rain not expected until Tuesday and Wednesday. And by next weekend, it will be a lot warmer, although this weekend still very nice. Now, looking at the forecast for today one last time, we'll see partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies, highs in the middle to upper 60s. Could even get to the lower 70s at times, but we're going to see very little wind. So when the sun is shining, it will feel a bit warmer than what it actually is. Overnight lows are also not going to be as cool as what they were this morning. We saw some areas get to the upper 30s this morning. Tonight into tomorrow morning, we'll see lows in the middle to upper 40s and possibly some lower 50s, so it won't be as cool of a night, and that will lead to even warmer temperatures for Sunday afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s with partly sunny skies. Definitely get out and enjoy the weather this weekend because Memorial Day will be just as nice with highs in the upper 60s and lower 70s, partly sunny and seasonable. If you like the warmer temperatures, though, it will be warmer for next weekend, but hard to complain about the forecast that is expected for our area. Now, as we take a look at the next rain chance, again, we're not going to see any rain over the weekend with the exception of maybe an isolated shower here or there, but it'll be very, very brief. For the most part, completely dry. But as we get towards Monday night, we will start to see some rain potentially move into the area. And as we get towards the overnight hours into Tuesday and Tuesday afternoon, that's when it looks like the rain will really move into the area. Tuesday night is the best chance for rain right now with some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms moving through. And then this rain is expected to kind of linger across our area during the day on Wednesday, although it doesn't look like the rain will be super heavy Wednesday with the heaviest rain Tuesday night. We still could see some showers lasting all the way through Wednesday night with maybe even some lingering showers Thursday morning as well, but a lot of the area will be dry at that point. We also will see those temperatures begin to warm up after the rain clears out. Highs will be in the middle to upper 70s from Friday through the end of the 10-day forecast. And we also are going to be dry during this period as well. So there really is only that one chance of rain, although it'll be Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just going to be the same system. Until then, we're going to be pretty dry, and after then, we'll be pretty dry with warmer temperatures following that rainfall. Again, some areas could get into the lower 80s next weekend, so if you think this Memorial Day weekend is a little too cool for you, then next weekend, I'm sure, will be a lot better for you folks. Middle to upper 70s, lower 80s. Again, partly sunny skies during that time frame as well. There's a lot of very good days going forward, and the two, days that it could rain, it's during the work week. So nothing too much to complain about right here. Memorial Day weekend is going to be very nice. Keep those outdoor plans. Shouldn't be impacted by the weather at all. And then next weekend, again, even warmer.
Last season, Whitewater baseball came up one win short of claiming their first national title since 2014. And all year long this year, the goal has been to get back to that D3 World Series and finish the job. Warhawks 2 wins away from a return trip, just have to get past conference rival Oshkosh in the Super Regionals. Tied at 1 in the second, and Aaron Holland smacks one through to give the home team the lead that would only grow. A couple of batters later, 2 on for Adam Kootway and 3 gone. Kootway's 3-run bomb caps off a 4-run frame, and it would only get uglier for Oshkosh as Whitewater dominates Game 1, 14-1 the final score, and are now just 1 win away from returning to the College World Series. As for Whitewater softball, it was a somber day yesterday at the Super Regionals for them. They needed just 1 win to advance to the World Series, but lost twice to St. Mary's of Minnesota, 7-1 the final score in the finale. The Warhawks finish a marvelous season with 39 wins, tied for the second most in program history. In Madison College baseball's first game in this year's Junior College World Series is today, this afternoon. It's the Wolfpack's 7th straight trip to the College World Series, which is a record that breaks their own previous record. And also the very reason that guys like Jefferson native Tyler Butina came to play in Madison.
Coming here, I didn't come here just to be close to home. It was more just, I knew they have a really good program here, and it just ended up working out that I'm only 40 minutes away, which is just like the cherry on top. So, I mean, it's just really cool because I hear about Madison College all the time in high school and everything, and now getting to be a part of it is just like super cool, being a part of a winning culture, and now going to Oklahoma is gonna be so much fun.
Headed to Pittsburgh, where 9 innings were not enough to decide a series opener. Tied at 4 in the 10th, and Isaac Collins connects and puts the Brewers on top of the Pirates. But in the bottom of the inning, a self-inflicted Brewers blunder as Abner Uribe's pitch gets away from him, resulting in a wild pitch walk-off win for the Pirates. The Crew lose 6-5 the final. Another year, another first-team All-NBA selection for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks star, who finished 3rd in the league's MVP voting, averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game this season. A season Bucks fans hope was not his last in Milwaukee. And let's finish here ahead of this weekend's Indy 500, the real race. This one rolled down the racetrack yesterday as the inaugural Weenie 500. You heard that right, the Weenie 500, where 6 Wienermobiles made Madison proud racing around the track. The Wieners reportedly go 0 to 60 in 25 seconds and top out at a sizzling 60 miles per hour. And the winner, or should I say wiener, was a car by the name of Slaw Dog, who won just by a bun. That's your morning sports fix. Have a remarkable Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, nice weekend and Memorial Day, too.
Yeah, definitely very good across southern Wisconsin. No need to cancel any outdoor plans. It's going to be very, very good, especially in those afternoon hours. It might get a little bit chilly at times, but still very comfortable. Now, we are going to see rain Tuesday and Wednesday, and then after the rainfall, those temperatures will warm back up. Partly sunny skies again for the end of next week and next weekend. Upper 70s, maybe even some lower 80s by the time we get to next weekend. So really outside Tuesday, Wednesday, looking pretty good. And even those days, obviously we don't want to have no rainfall, so it's hard to say that those days, are not necessary. But overall, just hard to complain about the 10-day forecast. Got any Memorial Day plans, Kyle?
So I'm going to go to the Brewers game on Monday for Memorial Day. It's also my dad's birthday on the 26th. So going to go see the Brewers face the Red Sox. I think that'll be enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I'm going down south to visit my family on Memorial Day itself, but I'll still be here tomorrow. And as we were just talking before the break, tomorrow's the best motorsports day of the year. Big motorsports fan. Indy 500, Coke 600, back-to-back tomorrow. Now, I know there may not be a lot in southern Wisconsin, but I'm certainly one of them.
Oh, yeah. No, you and I, we enjoy the motorsports.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it here for us. Thank you for watching Weekend Mornings. Our next newscast is at 6 p.m. today. You can always find us streaming on Channel 3000 Plus and News 8000 Plus. We thank you for joining us. Bye.